Welcome, YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So today, I haven't done a wellness weekly in a long time. So today, and this is very apropos for me, I thought we would talk a little bit about what to do when you lack motivation. It's something I struggle with, and I found some key things that have really helped me stay better on track. So I hope you'll stay tuned to find out what those are. Start this video by telling you all, I'm sure you've all figured this out, a little bit about my personality. So I have always loved to work. I like to accomplish things. I loved school. I was an overachiever, and I was very hard on myself. And I've learned at age 63 with some health problems how I might deal a little bit better when I have those inevitable days where I lack motivation. Now, you may have noticed this week's been a lot of sit-down videos. There's a reason for that. And y'all, I hate coming on here and being like, I don't feel good. My shoulder hurts. My back hurts. And that's not the purpose of this video. I have a tendency to get myself overwhelmed because I like to have my constant to-do list. You've all seen my planner. And I get a great sense of satisfaction by checking things off, and I feel accomplished, and I feel like I'm on track, and I feel like I'm doing well. So when I have a day, maybe like today, y'all, I hope you laugh at me too. It can be really hard for me to get started. So a lot of times I will get up and again, not to make this all about me, but I have a lot of pain in the morning, y'all, from laying still. First thing in the morning and trying to get to sleep are my two worst times of the day. When I'm active and occupied during the day, I function pretty well. But in the morning, whew, Lordy, some days it's really tough. So I come downstairs, I give the cat a drink, I go to the restroom, wash my hands, make some coffee. Not every day, but most days. I go to my chair, I turn on YouTube, I watch me some Homestead Tessie and some other channels I follow. And y'all, let me just say this about motivation. Hi Tessie, if you're there. I so admire her. Tessie has so much self-motivation. If you all had it, if you're not a YouTuber, if you've been on YouTube, and I think she's like 7, 8 years now, and you're doing a video every day, and sometimes she does too, it can be really tough to be creative and not feel like the old commercial, if you're from the US, time to make the donuts. It can really feel that way. So I hope you don't mind me sharing, Tessie. I actually reached out to her and I'm like, how do you do it? And it prompted me to do a little bit of research that might help me with days where I don't feel very motivated. So I go to my chair with my coffee and I watch Homestead Tessie and I play on my iPad. And then I start, if it's been a rough night, I start that internal battle. Well, I'm not even gonna take a shower. I'm not gonna worry about my to-do list. I take care of the animals. I'm gonna lay on the couch all day in my pajamas. I bet y'all are surprised to hear me say that, but that is the honest to goodness truth. And I don't have a super sedentary life, but invariably when I get up in the morning and I'm in pain, that's my go-to. So let me go through some tips I found through research, some through some counseling that I received. It was grief counseling, but it kind of snowballed into some other things as well. So I think the first thing is fake it till you make it. So act like you're motivated. So a lot of times what I will do is say, okay, I could lay on the couch all day. I could not take a shower or a bath or whatever I'm gonna take. But what would I be doing if I felt motivated. What would I wear? Would I do a video? Would I try to get ahead of my to-do list? It can really help just your mindset of saying, I'm going to be motivated today, and I'm going to reward myself, and we'll talk about rewards in a minute, for changing my mindset. So we many times, y'all, not to get too woo-woo or too medical, but when we release dopamine, when we've had an accomplishment, that's the feel-good hormone, if you will. So have you ever had like a term paper, a big project? Y'all, I've shared before in my career, I took care of all of the US. And part of the thing that I had to do is make sure when we added a service line that all of the manuals, so you had to go out and read the laws and rules, you had to edit the manual and make it relative to that state's laws and rules. That was a big part of my job, and it could be tedious. But let me tell you what, when you break it up and you're like, I'm a quarter of the way through, I'm a third of the way through, and I had employees that helped me, so it wasn't strictly just me doing it. So let me say that too. So yeah, sometimes that dopamine hit is what we really are looking for. So getting up and accomplishing something can be super beneficial. So the second thing is, I'm going to just say, argue the opposite. So let's say, as might have happened this morning, I don't feel like dragging that hose out and watering the garden. And if you noticed, it's in the 30s here this morning. So the only thing I'm watering, I'm looking here, is my loofah and my birdhouse gourds, because they're still going strong, but they're drying out. Y'all hear the seeds in it? So I'm just gonna leave them set, because even though we're having some frost warnings, I think they'll be okay for a bit longer. But back to arguing the opposite. So this morning I'm like, I'll get really, y'all are gonna be like, you're pitiful, Kym. I'm gonna get all cold, and cold makes me stiff, and it does. Y'all, I'm not gonna fib about that. I need to make sure that I'm adequately dressed. If you like my little hoodie, y'all, let me show you here. It's really big. And I know not everybody likes Temu, but this came from Temu. It's like a waffle knit, super comfortable, and it would be nice with like a shirt under it. But these are the days in Ohio where you start out in a hoodie and you end up in shorts and flip-flops. But anyway, argue the opposite. So, for example, I did not want to go out. I had several chores to do because it is daylight. And instead of saying, I'm going to be too cold, I said to myself, well, I can move around a lot. I can put on a heavier sweatshirt. Y'all, oh, wow, need to clean my shoes, and some leggings. And that's going to really help me stay warm. And if I keep moving, I know I can get it done. Did I get it done? I did. Did I get everything on my to-do list done? No, I did not. But it helped me get over that hump of, I'm going to feel even more miserable. So I went up, and y'all, have a big jacuzzi type tub. I take a lot of Epsom salts baths because that really helps me with my stiffness. I took a nice long hot bath. I got dressed. I fixed my hair, brushed my teeth. I put a little bit of makeup on. And by the time I got that done, it had not warmed up at all. But I was more in the mindset of, well, you're prepared to do this. So instead of saying I can't because I'm going to feel worse, just say I'm going to feel fine because I've prepared. Number 3, and I'm not very good at this, practice self-compassion. Now, you may take that to mean, well, when I don't do anything and I don't take a shower or a bath and I lay on the couch and watch YouTube all day, I'm being compassionate towards my pain or the way I feel or my lack of motivation. But that's not what I mean by this. Sometimes you have to talk kindly to yourself after a failure or after a sedentary day where you just couldn't pull out any motivation. So I had, excuse my shoulder, y'all, still hurts, but it's in place. I mean, I had a very long to-do list yesterday. Did I get it done, you ask? No, I did not. So instead of telling myself, you're so far behind, you're having surgery next week, you're never going to get caught up, you're lazy and you're worthless, I said instead to myself, okay, your to-do list is a little more robust today, but you've proven before that you can do it. And what you learned from that is being totally sedentary for an entire day did not help your stiffness. It didn't help your pain. And it certainly didn't help my dopamine receptors, because I spent the day not only dreading, but worrying, because guys, that's just who I am, and I wish I wasn't, and I am working on it. So that's why I share these things with you, not to tell you all my dirty secrets, but I'm sure I'm not the only person that sometimes lacks motivation. So that's why I wanted to bring you this video. Number 4, I don't find a great deal of success with this, but I know it is everywhere if you look about how to be more motivated, and that's the 10-minute rule. So let's say you need to vacuum your entire house. So you set a timer for 10 minutes, you vacuum for 10 minutes, and at the end of 10 minutes, you may only be like halfway through a room or so, and you may be like, well, I just want to finish this up. Sometimes just getting started really helps me to continue on. It can kind of depend on my level of pain, but I look at it this way, and this goes back to the self-compassion. That's 10 minutes of work that I did manage to accomplish, and I can finish the rest later. Next item, number 5, go for a nature walk. If you can. So a lot of times, if I just go outside, look at the sky, look at the trees, look at the chickens, look at where my garden is, get out of my usual environment of being in the house, it really frees up my brain, and I feel a lot better about getting started on projects. And it's been proven that walks in nature can decrease your brain fatigue, because y'all, a lot of this lack of motivation has to do with the way your brain is working, and it gets tired if you spend all of your time thinking about what you need to do, what you should have done and you didn't, why you're worthless because you didn't get it done. And again, that's negative self-talk, and I've had to really work on that as well. One that does work really well for me is pair something you dread with something you love. So let's go back to the vacuuming example. I don't hate vacuuming. I hate dusting, though. Maybe you listen to music. Maybe you put in earpods and you listen to a book on tape that you're, partially through and you're really enjoying it. It's not on tape. Hello, 1980s. On Audible, or listen to a free podcast. There are so many options. Sometimes you can turn on the television as a distraction, play your favorite music. That has really helped me get through some of those chores that I don't enjoy, like dusting. There's not too much housework that I don't enjoy. Excuse me. Fighting the hiccups, y'all. That isn't my biggest issue. Sometimes, y'all, and I'm gonna lay it out there for you. Sometimes it's coming up with a video topic if I haven't planned well ahead and way out, or what I plan to do, I'm not so much in the mood to do, or I'm missing an item if it's a recipe. Those are the kind of things that can kind of set me sideways. Next suggestion, manage your to-do list. Me and my to-do list. I like having to-do lists because I feel like it keeps me on track. I don't forget to do things like take the trash out on Wednesdays, those type of things. But I can also take a look, because I will generally make my to-do list for tomorrow, today, based on what I've accomplished, what's come up. And I don't prioritize well. So sometimes I will cherry pick and do the things I want to do instead of the things I need to do. So it's really, really helpful. And my planner has a space for 3 priorities for the day. And today I had a couple outside things that were definitely priority. Making this video and editing it is a priority. And today is errand day for me. I need to get my oil changed. I need to get the car washed. I have to drop off a lotion order I made. So I've got a lot of things to do today. But putting off things till later this afternoon when I return from all the different errands that I have to do, and there's more than that, is only going to give me a lot of brain clutter, a lot of guilt. And it's sometimes better for me to just say, okay, let's set the priorities, because realistically, your list is as long as your arm and you can't do it all. Next suggestion, practice self-care. So we all know our bodies can get out of sort. Even our brain chemicals can get out of sort if we don't take care of ourselves. And I'm not talking about mani-pedis, but that may be a thing for you. Mine happens to be getting lashes. But sleeping enough, always a challenge. Eating right, that is not as much of a challenge. Moving enough, getting that proper balance of rest and exercise can circumvent you not wanting to do things simply because your body isn't prepared, because you aren't caring for it. And then the final thing, reward yourself. Excuse me for wincing, guys. My arm is really sore. I don't mean go eat a candy bar because you got your video done. Although there was a time I did do that. But think of something that you want to do once you've accomplished your priorities and maybe some of your nice to-dos, right? So, for example, maybe I will watch one of my favorite fall movies this afternoon once I've gotten everything done and my to-do list looks much better and I've moved off the non-priorities that I didn't get done, but I have a plan to get them done. So that is a big reward for me. Or, you know, watching your favorite TV show or taking a walk, whatever it is that you really enjoy and you wish you were doing instead of those things on your to-do list can really be helpful, because it gives you something to look forward to. It keeps you motivated to keep pressing on so that you can finish whatever task it is that you've either put off or that you're dreading. So I know today's video was a little bit different. I just felt compelled to share some of the things that I'm trying to do, as I don't always feel as well. Change of season for those of us with inflammatory type diseases can be really tough, because it can bring on symptoms maybe you don't have in the summer, but you get all stiff in the winter and you need to change the clothing that you wear, or maybe use a heating pad, those type of things. So I'm really trying to make a smooth transition into this fall and winter season. We get very bitterly cold here, and I live in an area that's really windy, and both of those things can be very difficult when you have an inflammatory or an autoimmune disease, because it can cause flare-ups. So finding that proper balance of priorities versus nice to-dos. I used to make a list when I worked. Priorities, need to do, would be nice to do. And that was the only way I could keep my brain straight with all the responsibilities that I've had. So, do you have any tips for me on how to stay motivated? I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. So drop me that comment below. Also, y'all, go ahead and smash that like button. And here's the deal on next week, y'all. So Wednesday is my implant surgery. Y'all, I've had implant surgeries that were like nothing other than swelling. I always swell a lot. I've had implant surgeries where I've been down for like 2 weeks. I don't know what's gonna happen. The disadvantage of this surgery is that it's a top and a bottom tooth. So that means all the swelling is going to be, you know, confined to one side. And I'm just hoping and praying that it all goes smoothly. So my plan at this point is to have a Tuesday video, and I'm not going to promise as a priority any of the videos next week. If I feel up to it, I'm certainly going to do it. I have some things on my want to do list that I'd like to share with you on Tuesday, but I just don't know about Thursday and Saturday. Hopefully, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, it will be in the easy category, and I won't have a whole lot of problems with my recovery. One thing that's really good is that the bone grafts I have waited months and months and months till everything is like super duper healed. So I've done everything I can do to make it as easy as I can for myself. All right, enough about Kym. So I plan to see you on Tuesday, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.